Hey everyone, it's me, Heisennburgg here, and I will just go ahead and apologize for how long it's been since I've made one of these videos. I've just been doing my other series and I've been kind of busy, so I apologize about that. And I got my SLI config all set up now and it's been giving me some issues getting it set up, but I think I got everything under control now. And I'm gonna be having to use Internet Explorer today because Google Chrome is having issues with the SLI for some reason, and sometimes it just spazzes out. So Internet Explorer typically isn't my favorite in the world, but at least I got it working. So I apologize for the people that don't like Internet Explorer because it's not particularly my favorite either. But enough about that. I guess we can go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be looking at Superb ENB. And personally, I have never tried this ENB out because up until a few days ago, I guess the author moved it into the ENB presets category, so now it's in like it's like on the front page, like with Real Vision and Seasons of Skyrim and all that. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it'd be cool to try out this ENB. So the first thing we're going to do is head over to the page, and like always, I'll put a link for you in the description. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit. You can look at these pictures if you want, and then we're going to stop at the installation part. And step 1 says download ENB binary. So we're going to right-click ENB binary, and we're going to open link in new tab, and it's going to take us to ENB series 266 page. So then we're going to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and we're going to click the download arrow. And I'm going to click open. And you're going to need something that downloads archives in order to install this correctly, whether it would be WinRAR or 7-zip. For the purpose of these videos, I'm using both, but personally I like WinRAR better. But pick your poison, whatever you decide to use. Either way, once you get a pop-up like this, you can go ahead and hit backspace and then drag and drop the archive on your desktop. And I have one up here already, so I'll go ahead and put it down there. And then we can go ahead and close out of ENB dev because we got everything we needed from there. And then the next thing we're going to do is download the Superb ENB archive. So scroll up to the top and click the Files tab, and under Main Files you'll see an alternative Superb ENB and then just the regular Superb ENB. I'm just going to download the regular one, but you could download the alternate one if you wanted to. And once you hit download manually, you need the Dawnguard DLC, Dragonborn DLC, Relighting Skyrim, ELE, and then the ENB D3D9.dll, which we just installed from ENB dev. I'm already using ELE, but Relighting Skyrim isn't really a lighting mod, it just changes the positioning of the lighting, so you could install that if you wanted to, but it says that both of the DLCs are required, so I would assume everyone would have the DLCs now anyway. They've been out for a while. So once you've made sure that you have the correct mods in order to get this ENB to look as intended, go ahead and click continue with my download, and then click open. And then just like with the binary, you'll get a pop-up that looks like this, and when you do, you can go to your desktop and hit backspace and then drag and drop the archive on your desktop. And we can leave these be for just a second. I'm going to go back to the page and see what's next. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to locate our Skyrim folder, and an easy way to do that is if you have Nexus Mod Manager, you can open it up and you can click this orange folder right here, and it'll bring down a drop-down menu. Click Open Game Folder and it'll take you right to your Skyrim folder. It's going to be where you installed Steam, so Steam, Steam Apps, Common, and Skyrim. So make sure you're here and not in your data folder. When you see Skyrim Launcher and TESV, you're in the correct place, but it may or may not have the .exe at the end. Either way, it's the same thing. So once you've located your Skyrim folder, we can go ahead and minimize that for just a second. The next thing I'm about to do is completely optional, I'm just going to be turning these archives into folders, so it makes things easier, I think. So I would recommend that you do that as well. So you can go ahead and right click on the binary archive, and if you're using WinRAR, you can click extract to ENB series Skyrim 266. If you use 7-zip, bring down your menu and click the same thing, and it's going to turn it into a folder, as you can see right here. So if you decided to turn it into a folder, you can go ahead and delete the archive. And then we're going to do the same thing for the Superb ENB archive. We're going to right click it and then click extract to Superb ENB beta. 7-zip users, bring down your menu and click the same thing. And again, it's going to turn it into a folder, and then we can delete the archive. And then it says we're going to have to open up the Superb ENB folder like this, and then we can bring up our Skyrim folder. And what we're going to do is we're going to highlight everything in the Superb ENB folder except for data, so make sure data is unhighlighted. And we're just going to copy that and then paste it into our Skyrim folder. And then with the data folder, what I'm going to have you do is right click on it and click add to archive, and then name it something pertaining to the ENB so you don't forget. I'm just going to name it Superb ENB data, and it's going to turn it into an archive. And once you get an archive for it, you can drag and drop it onto your desktop, and you can close out of the Superb folder. And then once you get this archive on your desktop, we can open up our mod manager. Make sure you're on your mods tab and click add mod from file, and make sure you're on your desktop tab if it didn't bring you there, and click the Superb ENB data. So that pretty much, instead of manually having to do it, it does it automatically for you. So I thought that was pretty cool. Once you've added it in here, go ahead and activate it. I'm going to have to restart my mod manager because mine, for some reason, yours may do the same thing mine just did. It might just not show up. If it does that, go ahead and restart it. But once you've put your data files in your mod manager and you've activated it, the next thing we're going to do is open up the ENB series 266 binary folder, and we're going to click the wrapper version. And the two files that we need out of here are the d3d9.dll file and the enbhost.exe file, and we're going to copy those over, and you're going to paste them in your Skyrim folder. Some people may have to use the Injector version, but I don't know the correct way to do Injector version installations. I have a friend who I feature on my channel called Mr. Guyanese channel. He made a video on how to do Injector version installations if you'd want to check that out. It's a really nice video. But 99% of people are going to be using the wrapper version, so yeah. So once you've copied the other two files over, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the ENB local file, and it may or may not have .ini at the end of it. We're going to open that up. I recommend using Notepad++. It's a free download. It's so much better than regular Notepad, but we're basically going to edit it. And the two settings we're going to be looking at are reserved memory size MB and video memory size MB, and both of these settings can be found under the memory tab of the ENBLOCAL.INI file for this ENB. Reserved memory size MB, I always leave mine at 512, and I'm not really too sure what this does. I know it has something to do with RAM, obviously, but I don't really know the technical way to explain it. If you're really that curious, I think Gopher has a video on it, or you could just Google it. But video memory size MB is how much VRAM your system has, or your main graphics card. And I have two GTX 780s, but you can only use it only uses the VRAM from the one card, so I only have 3 gigabytes. So 3072 for 3 gigabytes. I believe 2 gigabytes is 2048, but if you don't know your correct number for your VRAM, make sure you look it up on Google or something, because it's very important that you get this correct. Otherwise the ENB will just give you a lot of problems. Once you've edited those two settings, file and save. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go to, you can go back to your Skyrim folder and click Documents, My Games, and Skyrim. And you're going to see Skyrim.ini and SkyrimPrefs.ini. Again, the .ini may or may not be there. It's the same way either way. We're going to be opening our Skyrim prefs, and we're going to be editing that. And it says on the ENB page that we need to set bFloatPoint render target to 1. So an easy way to do this is double-click bFloatPoint render target and do Control-C, and that copies it, and then go back to your Notepad and Control-F, and that brings up a Find menu, and then Control-V to paste it, and then click Find Next, and it'll automatically find it for you instead of having to scroll through all these settings yourself and having to find it. So make sure bFloatPoint render target equals 1. If it's at 0, change it to 1. And there should be 2 other settings not too far above bFloatPoint render target. You'll see B trees receive shadows and B draw land shadows. This ENB in particular doesn't tell you that you have to change those to 1, but you could change them to 1 if you wanted to. I know they're usually at 0 at default, but change them to 1 if you want to. It just, most other ENBs recommend it. That's why I thought it would be a good idea. But you don't have to. You can just change the bFloatPoint render target if you want. But once you've edited whatever you need to edit, file and save it. I already did, or I didn't have to change anything. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Skyrim folder where we installed all the ENB files. And we are going to open up our Skyrim launcher.exe. And when you've opened it up, you should get a menu like this. And what you're going to do is bring up options. And where it says anti-aliasing, make sure that's set to off. And then the anisotropic filtering, make sure that's off as well. And once you set those both to off, go ahead and click OK. And then exit the Skyrim launcher. And superb ENB. Let me go ahead and activate my data files. Alright, so it did, Superb ENB does add a plugin, so you are going to have to run loot. So once you've activated the data files, go ahead and run loot or boss, whatever you use. And after we do this, we can go ahead and go in game and see how the ENB looks. And obviously if the Superb ENB is not checkmarked in your load order, make sure you checkmark it so it's active. But if you've done all the steps I've just done and showed you, you're good to go in game. So I'm going to go ahead and launch SKSE, and I'll see you guys in game. Hey guys, so once you've loaded up your game, you should get a message in your top left-hand corner telling you that you've installed your binary files correctly. So if you get that message, it's a good sign. And then you'll get this yellow message telling you if you press Shift-Enter, it'll bring up an editor menu. This is basically your GUI menu where you can tweak the ENB like to a certain way that you want it. You can disable settings, enable different settings in here. You can do pretty much anything in this menu, and then Shift-Enter to get out of it. There we go. And if you press the star key on your number pad, it'll bring up a frames per second counter in the top left-hand corner. So that's a pretty cool feature for somebody who doesn't have an FPS counter. And then, again, the star key on your number pad to deactivate it. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my game so you guys can see what this ENB looks like. Alright guys, so once you've loaded up your game, which it may give you some shit at first, you may crash a couple times. I did before I could load up my game. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You'll see that it looks pretty good, and a way to compare the difference between the ENB and vanilla Skyrim, you can press Shift and F12, and it'll put you back in vanilla Skyrim, and then Shift F12 to go back to the ENB. And as you can see, this ENB does make a pretty huge difference. Like I mentioned, I haven't tried this ENB out before, so it's definitely a surprise for me. And I have about 350 mods, and as you can see, I'm getting 30 FPS in Whiterun with this ENB. I just got a couple stutters, but that's because of the recording software. But yeah, guys, so far I like this ENB. I like how the windows are nice and luminous and whatnot. But yeah, guys, that's how you download and install Superb ENB. I hope it was easy enough for you to get it installed. I know sometimes ENBs can be a bitch to get up and running. I've been there, done that. So if you need any help, you can simply send me a message or leave me a comment, and I'll try and help you out and try and help you get this ENB up and running as best as I can. Because I know I've been getting a lot of comments recently about people having problems with their game crashing and stuff. Sometimes that's just how it happens sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I'll try and make these ENB installation videos sooner. Like I said, I've been kind of busy lately, so I apologize for that. I'm probably going to be doing real-like ENB next, and then I'm going to do Polo ENB because that one got recommended or suggested to me by another subscriber. So again, if you guys have any suggestions for any ENBs that you would like me to install for you, just ask and I will do it for you, just so you guys don't get lost. So again, this has been Heisennburgg, and I will see you guys in the next video.